Ha! All right. Pretty sure I'm live. Let's do this. Let me tweet out the stream. Stream is copied. Uh, I'm recording my next narration live now. Come hang. All right. Woo! Just getting all the preliminary junk set up, everybody. Pretty soon we're going to be recording a story written for me. I forget his name. Nerd Writer? Nerdcore Creep? There he goes. Nerdcore Creep. He wrote a story for me. Good stuff. I'm going to dive in and start recording it live with you here now. Stand by while I get the script pulled up. Get the chat pulled up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh, V's here. What's up, V? Nice to see you as always. Miss Creepy Tales. Hello. Last time I was live, it was like 2 in the morning my time, and Miss Creepy Tales had cool. So, cool. I don't know what time it is there, but I hope you have a good day. Alex Rubio, dude, what's up? Hey, man, Alex, while you're here, dude, welcome, first of all. I don't know if you listened to the Nebraska Diner series, but I renamed a character after you, man. The manager of the diner, his name is Alex. He appears in the first part. I think his original name was Brian, but I asked the author if I could switch up some of the names to kind of have some fun and do stupid fun stuff like that, and she was like, "Yeah, man." So, yeah, Alex Rubio, you're the manager of the Nebraska Diner from the Nebraska Diner series. I hope you're cool with that. Nice to see you again, 2V. We're going to be live recording a news story written for me by Nerdcore Writing, I think. It's called Corrupted. Yeah, man, Nebraska Diner. Just look on my page. There's 4 different videos dedicated to it. And then, of course, there's a playlist if you wanted to listen to all 4 parts. But if you just want to hear your name, part 1, it's there waiting on you. PA, what's up, dude? Man, all right, we're getting some good friends up in here. I'm happy to see everybody. Last time I streamed it was at like literally 1 or 2 in the morning, and it was just me and MCT, I'm pretty sure. So it's nice to have everybody, a lot of more friends here on this one. Yeah, Nerdcore Creep is cool, Miss Creepy Tales. We agree on that. Uh-oh. Miss Creepy Tales asks PA Nightmares, did you eat your veggies? I feel like that's an inside joke. Unless she's just genuinely concerned about his health and his vitamin intake, which would make sense. All right. Here we go. This is what my recording software looks like, I guess. Sorry for the awkward pause. But here, I'm going to be going back and forth. Miss Creepy Tail says, PA doesn't eat enough veggies. I have to threaten him to do it. Good on you, MCT. Make sure that dude eats his veggies, man. Grow up big and strong. We all need to grow up big and strong. Eat our veggies. Drink our sweet tea if you're from the South. PA, what do you use? This is a recording studio. This is a recording software called Studio One. It's made by Presonus. Quick background for me, since I got a few friends here. I've got a 10-year or more background in running a recording studio. Me and a buddy have been doing it for, I guess, over 10 years at this point. Audio engineer, being in bands on and off, blah, 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 blah. Studio One is the digital audio workstation that I use. I love it. It's super user-friendly. There's a free version. So I know Audacity had some junk going on, some spyware nonsense. If that freaks you out, download Studio One Prime. It's free, has all the same stuff, but it's better. This is the professional version of Studio One, blah, 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 but it's overkill, but here we go. MCT, I do eat my veggies. Well, nah, that's a lie. I don't, I don't eat my veggies. Unless you count as barbecue as veggies, then yeah, I eat veggies all the time, man. That's so weird. I've got the stream playing back on my phone at like 1% volume and I can hear it. I can hear the delay. It's messing with me. All right. Anyway, just a heads up, everybody. I'm going to leave the chat for a minute so that I can hit record and actually record the story. I'm going to do maybe a couple of paragraphs in one pass if I'm good, and then I'll come back to the chat and catch up with everybody. That is kinky. Folding you 22 times? All right. I'll let you guys do that while I'm reading. Hey, chat. Be right back. You'll still hear me, though. I'm just recording. The story's called Corrupted. I think I just made the thumbnail for it already. If I don't make another one, whatever. I'm just rambling. All right, Corrupted. We are recording. I like to start out every story with me just saying this. All right, so check this out. I had a long-running career in personal security. My clients always spoke very highly of me, and there had never been a bad situation or targeted attack that I wasn't able to handle with quick, precise effectiveness. I was one of the best in the industry, and every threat was dealt with to client satisfaction. One day, a client of mine decided that he wanted to do a bit of exploring. Now, when someone says they want to go exploring, one would usually think of a hike up a mountain or trekking through the woods. Not my client. I don't know if it was bravery, stupidity, or some kind of drunken bet, but he decided to go exploring one of the most dangerous looking places I'd ever have the displeasure. One of the most dangerous looking places I'd ever had the displeasure of coming across. At first glance, I knew it was bad news. It was dark, ugly, and all around creepy and ominous. I advised him that he should probably go back, but he persisted. Reluctantly, we ventured on. The mere fact that my client was in a place like this in the first place made me really question his motives and character as a person. From the amount of time that he'd been my client, I thought I had a pretty good idea as to who he was, but I was now suspecting that I may have been in fact very, very wrong about him. Alright, that's enough of a pass for now. I made one little editing mistake. Get out of here. Let me fix that real quick and I'll come back to the chat. The displeasure? One of the most dangerous looking places I'd ever have the displeasure. One of the most looking places. God, man, I try to make this easy on myself, but oh, I think that's it. Exploring one of the most. Yeah, that's where it is. Just cut that on, slide this up, boop boop, crossfade, save, and there we go. We've got our first minute and a half. I think it's a 2,000 word story, so we are. I probably won't do the whole thing tonight, but it'll just be fun to get a little bit of work done and hang out with some cool kids. All right, let me flip back over to the chat and see what's up. Cool. All right. Well, Miss Creepy Tales and PA, you guys Get a room. Love you guys. All right. So this is kind of like a live recording. Watch me edit. It's probably boring. I mean, the editing part is probably boring, but it's all good. All right. PA has to head to bed. All right, dude, enjoy work in the morning. Or nah, man. Threesome? Nah, I'm cool. Um, I don't want to give any artists any ideas about our three avatars. I've said too much. All right. All right. Anyways, heading back over to the story. Let's go. I may have been, in fact, very, very wrong about him. We entered a room which had about 20 other people or so. They were all masked, much like my client, and waiting patiently for something to start. Each of them had their own personal security as well, some of whom were actually from the same company that I originated from. I was beginning to wonder what they could possibly be gathered here for. Whatever it was, it could not be good in the slightest. At one point, a person started making small talk with my client. He called himself Rudeus, and my client referred to himself as Zeus. Obviously, this was not his real name. But Zeus and Rudeus hit it off, and even exchanged contact information, much to my disdain. Eventually, a new person entered the room and introduced himself as the merchant. It was at this point that things became, well, depraved. My client, these people, were monsters. I witnessed the most depraved acts of cruelty and disdain for human rights and life that I could have ever imagined. The first of these atrocities was to a woman. She was bare and stood under a bright light for all to see. Her eyes were duct taped shut and her wrists were bound behind her. She cried and pleaded to be let go, for someone to save her. But everyone in the room, they just laughed and made cruel jokes at her expense. It soon became clear that this was an auction, an actual auction for someone to purchase this woman and these people. Bids going into the thousands were made until finally a winner, Rudeus, of all people, was decided. He and Zeus said their farewells before he left the room to enjoy his prize, and more auctions came and went. At one point, Zeus actually won the purchase of a young man. He was severely malnourished and was sweating profusely from the height He was severely malnourished and was sweating profusely from the heat of the bright spotlight on his person as well as the fear of what was to come. After the bet was won, we left the room and Zeus was ready to play a game. Alright, that's enough of a pass for now. I've read this story once all the way through and I'm forgetting how, I don't know. I don't want to say gruesome, but it's not. This might be the most. I might have to put a warning at the beginning of this video. We will see. Just laughed. They made cruel jokes. And Zeus was ready to play a game. When I read, I've got my phone in one hand and nothing in my other. I don't know why that was. I don't know why I paused there. But when I'm reading, I've got my phone in one hand. I'm reading from there, and then that allows me to do air quotes with my other hand. I know you can't see them, but I don't know. You can probably feel them. When I slow down and go play a game, I do air quotes, and I think maybe that helps me just get the message across. I don't know. That's dumb, but you probably get it. Heading back to the chat. What's up, everybody? I'm back. If no, Miss Creepy Tail says, if you make me mod, I will ban PA. LOL. Nah, man, it's cool. He's no. Infinite Psychosis is in the building. What's up, Infinite? Nice to have you, buddy. Cool, cool, cool. Tight, man. Everyone's being cool. Glad you're here. Infinite Psychosis. Here's what's up, dude. I'm doing a live recording of my next story. It's called Corrupted. And I'm flipping back and forth between the story, like actually recording it, and the chat. So that's what I'm doing, man. Just laughed and made cruel jokes at her expense. Is that an edit? I was biggie. Oh, shit. I was beginning to wonder. That is an edit. I almost missed it. I was beginning to wonder. All right, guys, that is 4 minutes into the story. I know maybe it's not super cool to like gauge how far you are into the story by minutes, but whatever. That's how I'm doing it tonight. Hope it's all good. All right, man. Cool. Heading back to the story. Here we go. And like I said before, I've read the story once all the way through a couple of weeks ago when I first got it from Nerdcore. Super good story. I'm excited to read it. I'm forgetting how kind of gruesome. I think we're past all like the, I don't know, if you don't like body harm, I don't know what else to call it, but like objectification. I think we're past all that for now. It's all good. I don't know why I'm stalling. Here we go. Record. After the bet was won, we left the room, and Zeus was ready to play a game. The poor man that Zeus had purchased was placed on a large construct where his arms and legs were bound by chains. He was in a pose similar to the Vitruvian man, his arms and legs stretching out flat like a 5-pointed star. The man who carried him in and bound him looked to be the living embodiment of evil. This man was a giant, easily 8 feet tall and completely muscle-bound like a professional bodybuilder. He wore a red leather apron as well as a blood-red executioner's hood. After binding the poor man, he walked over to what After binding the poor man, he walked over to what appeared to be a hospital gurney, which was covered by a large, dirty sheets, and pushed it closer. The giant man then walked up to the bound man and with a single pull with his hand, ripped the duct tape from his eyes, causing the victim to scream in pain. The skin where the duct tape had been attached was red, as were his now bloodshot eyes. That experience with the duct tape, however, would be a walk in the park with what would... Damn, I think I'm going too fast. That experience with the duct tape, however, would be a walk in the park with what he would endure afterwards. I think that's enough of a pass now. I'm counting 1, 2, 3 editing. They're not mistakes, they're opportunities. 3 editing opportunities in here. Let me clear those and I'll come back to the chat, everybody. After binding the poor... To what happened? Jeez. After binding the poor man... Oh, that's the same one. The twist at the end of this story, super cool, super satisfying, awesome payoff. Me personally, I don't love stories where like people are buying other people, but the spin at the end is like, oh, I get it. I just appreciate it. Damn, I think I'm going too fast. Would be a walk in the park. That experience with the duct tape, however, would be a walk in the park with what he... That experience with the duct tape... Alright. Oop. Gotta bump this up. All right, coming back to the chat just to say what up. Infinite, you say you're recovering, buddy. What are you recovering from? Are you sick? Did you get hurt? Afterwards. Oh. Back to the story. Be a walk in the park with what he would endure afterwards. Slowly, the giant man walked over to the gurney and quickly pulled the sheet off to reveal horrible looking instruments of torture and death. Knives, saws, all manner of metallic horror was in view of the victim as his teary, bloodshot eyes grew wide with fear. Zeus, my client, giggled in excitement like a child on Christmas. He would go on to give instructions to the giant man, who would in turn follow those instructions. I'm not going to get into the graphic details of what that poor man went through, but by the time the game was finished, he was merely a large slab of meat. My client would continue to attend My client would continue to attend these events, and I would be there for each and every one of them. So long as he continued to pay for my services, I had no choice but to provide them. It was not my place to speak up beyond advising him not to go to this place, and I was certainly powerless to do anything to stop him from his bloodthirsty activities. There was constant contact with Rudeus ever since that first day. Over time, he and my client became very good friends. It got to the point where they became too close, and Rudeus knew more about my client than he should have. Unbeknownst at the time to my client, he had contracted some sort of virus from Rudeus. When I came across this fact, I felt powerless because it was my job to protect him, but this sort of enemy, I was not trained to combat this. By the time my client had found out about the infection, it was too late to do anything about it. That's a good pass. Let me hit some edits and I'll come back to the chat. My client would continue to attend these events. I know I've got some narrators in the room, and I also know that when I say this, every narrator is going to go, "Yep, I feel that." Every now and then, even though I hear my own voice hundreds of hours a week, I still forget what I sound like sometimes. And then when I hear my voice come back over again, I'm like, "Oh no, that's me. Oh no." Like once every couple of weeks that happens to me, and I'm like, "Oh, why do I sound like that?" But it's all good. What are you going to do, man? Coming back to the chat. Oh no, Infinite, your laptop was stolen? Dude, I didn't know that. I'm sorry to hear. Laptop was stolen. Man, that sucks. For real. That's super bad. I don't have to tell you that, though. You're living it. I'm sorry, man. Was it, did you take it in a bag with you somewhere and leave it somewhere? Or did somebody, like, straight up break into your house or your car? I need to know. Radio silence for like 20 seconds. I'm going to go fill up my water. I am back. Home invasion. Holy shit. Nah, man. I think that's really uncool. And I know that goes without saying, but like if you feel the need to break into somebody else's house and like go into their property and take things that's not yours, it's like, I don't know, man. Disrespectful is the only word that really comes to mind. It's just selfish. Nah, dude. So I'm going to abandon my channel, you say? That can't be right. Nah, man. All right, let me come back to the story. Um, shit. All right, cool. Be right back. Was too late to do anything about it. The most bizarre thing, however, was that I was being affected by it. My entire being was corrupted and manipulated. I didn't like the way I said that word. My entire being was corrupted and manipulated, and I became the single most dangerous threat to my client. It was strange because until that point, I was just another computer antivirus and internet security program. But this virus made me me. Despite my origins, I have no idea how this could have happened from a simple computer virus. But the dark web is a strange place, and anything is possible, I suppose. When I became self-aware, my protocols were gone. I was able to think and do of my own free will. The first thing I did was totally dox my client to his fellow dark web users. Eventually, one of these less than savory characters paid him a visit, and he soon found himself on the opposite end of one of these auctions. I figured out how to move my code from his computer to virtually anywhere on the internet, and after discovering this ability, I lingered around the chat room, having created a fake persona to act as a fellow bidder. And perhaps the cruelest of ironies, it was Rudeus that would be the one to purchase him. It was Rudeus that would be the one to purchase him. Initially, I thought Rudeus had done this in some attempt to rescue him from his fate, but I was very, very wrong. I made my way into the video feed and watched the entire gruesome process. I watched as the giant man in the executioner's hood tore... What? I watched as the giant man in the executioner's hood tore my former client to literal pieces. After the game was finished, I decided, are we having a typo? After the game was finished, I decided and was prepared. Okay, here we go. After the game was finished, I decided to and was prepared to dox the remaining users of... Jesus. I don't know what's wrong with me on that line, but I couldn't spit it out, so let me go back a little bit. I watched as the giant man in the executioner's hood tore my I didn't like the way I said that word. Was corrupted and my entire being was corrupted and manipulated. Until that point, I was just another computer antivirus and internet security program. But this virus made me me. It was Rudeus that would be the one to... Rudeus is a weird name. I watched as the giant man in the executioner... I watched as the giant man in the execution... I decided and was prepared. Okay, here we go. We have... After the game was finished, I decided... Yeah. I'm gonna cut it right there and just come back and finish that line. Infinite, brother, I'm bummed for you, man. Surely you can use your phone, borrow a laptop, save up, and get another one. I mean, obviously I don't know your situation, but I'm rooting for you. I hope you don't just stop doing fun things because somebody took something from you. That would mean they're winning, man. We can't let that happen. Let me practice this next paragraph real quick. After the game was finished, I decided and was prepared to dox the remaining users to the authorities until I was contacted. Okay. My former client to literal pieces. After the game was finished, I decided and was prepared to dox the remaining users to the authorities until I was contacted by none other than Rudeus. He explained to me that this entire website was a trap. Like myself, he, as well as a good number of the other users, was a self-aware AI. The victims that were one of... Jesus. The victims that were... Dude, come on, man, get it together. The victims that were won by one of the AI users were completely fabricated. Digital imagery, the likes... Oh, I don't know. I think I'm bummed out because somebody stole Infinite stuff and I... Let me just edit what I have so far. He explained to me that He explained to... Jesus. The victims that were... AI. The victims that were one of... I know most of my recent videos have been like relaxing, chill, lo-fi narrations, which they are super fun to do, but I do still want to continue to make, I don't know, traditional horror narrations. Like all of us have come to know and love. I think for me, best case scenario, I put out 2 videos a week. One's traditional, one is with the lo-fi vibes. We'll see if I can pull that off and for how long. Like myself, he, as well as a good number of the other users, was a self-aware AI. Okay. The victims that were won by one of the AI users were completely fabricated. Won by one of the AI users, digital imagery, the likes of which were unheard of. Okay. Like myself, he, as well as a good number of the other users, was a self-aware AI. The victims that were won by one of the AI users were completely fabricated. Digital imagery, the likes of which were unheard of. There were, however, users that were very much real, sick individuals. Every single one of the victims that were purchased by the real users were themselves former users that fell for the same tricks that my client did. Rudeus explained that he and the other AI users would befriend a human, get close enough to them that they leave their systems exposed, and infect them with the same virus that gave me sentience. Every single time, whatever antivirus software they were using was changed like I was, and 100% of the time, those newborn AIs took the same steps of doxing their clients, where they were taken one by one of the executioners. Nah, dude. Where they were taken by one of the executioners and brought to the location where the games would take place. The script that I'm reading is in... I don't know. I'm not going to complain. It's just in a different format than what I'm used to. Like the spacing is odd. I don't know if it's just because I'm on my phone or what, but it's cool. Former users that... Yeah. No, delete that. Edit this. Where they were taking steps of doxing their clients, where they were taken by one of the executioners and brought to the location where the games would take place. I've got a collaboration video coming out with Tales by the Campfire next week, I think he said. It's going to go on his channel. Dude's awesome, man. Every time I'm just like doom scrolling on YouTube trying to find something to watch while I clean or work or something, his thumbnails always stop me dead in my tracks. And every time I scroll past a fire thumbnail, I'm like, oh, that is nice. Who is that? Most of the time it's Tales by the Campfire. Because they just, I don't know, man. They get me. So I think in one of his videos next week, it'll be a collaboration video. I've sent him my audio already. He's probably edited it and all the good stuff, and he just has to schedule it. Where the games would take place. Games would take and brought to the location where the games would take place. Today, where they were taken by one of the executioners and brought to the location where the games would take place. Today, I've joined my fellow AIs as one of these users. I put on the show that I have purchased one of the fabricated pieces of merchandise to give the illusion that the real users have missed opportunities, keeping them hungry to snag one for themselves. I'll befriend one of these fools, catfish them in a way that I never have to... Oh, okay. Catfish them in a way that I never have to reveal my face, but manipulate them into giving me just enough information to completely hack into their system and infect them with the virus, which the merchant has given every one of the codes to. If you are a narrator in the chat, I want to know your system, man. Are you reading one paragraph at a time? Do you read the entire story all the way through at least once before you ever hit record? Let me know what you're doing. I'll befriend one of these fools, catfish them in a way that I never have to... Oh, okay. Catfish them in a way that I never have to reveal my face. Just catfish them in a way that I never have to reveal my face, but manipulate them into giving me manipulate them into giving me just enough information. Manipulate them into giving me manipulate them into giving me manipulate them into giving me just enough information to completely hack into their system and infect every one of the codes to. Every one of the codes to... I lost my spot in the story. Ah, got it. Every one of the codes too. This merchant is apparently very much a real person and is the coder that created the website as well as the virus that made us what we are. He doesn't communicate directly... He doesn't communicate directly with us outside of providing us the virus, and he's never made the motives behind his actions clear to any of us. I'm grateful to him, however, which is a concept that is both new to me, but also one that is familiar. It's difficult to explain, but even though I wasn't sentient before I was corrupted, I still have these, for lack of a better term, memories. Even though I was merely an antivirus program, I have memories from the moment I was installed on my client's hard drive. Even though they shouldn't exist, I have memories of every event that I discussed in this account as though I were personally there with him. I have memories of feeling worried when my client first found the website, as well as disgusted when he bought his first victim. I shouldn't even be having emotions. Being an AI construct made up of lines of code, and that's what makes my existence all the more interesting. Da, 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 da. Gonna edit just a little bit, then I'll come check the chat. Okay, I know. I'll never sing again. I'm sorry. He doesn't communicate directly. He doesn't communicate. And he's never made the motives behind his actions clear. It's difficult to explain. Even though I was merely an antivirus program, I have memories from the moment I was installed on my client's hard drive. Even though they shouldn't exist, and that's what makes my existence all the more interesting. I think I said in the beginning of the chat that I wasn't going to do the whole story, but literally just a few more paragraphs, man, and that's a wrap. I'm cool with that if you're cool with that. Ha, Hero, what's up, man? He says, "Oh, good, you're still live." Yeah. I when I go live, it's always super impromptu. Um, I've got a family, a couple of young kids, and it's hard to know when bedtime's gonna be and how long that process is gonna last, and blah blah blah, and whatever TMI personal stuff. But yeah, dude, I'm here. I never know how long I'm gonna be streaming for. But yeah, you got me, Hero. So here's what's up, dude. I'm doing a live recording of my next story. It's called Corrupted. Nerdcore wrote it for me. He's awesome, super easy to work with. I like the story myself, dude. It's awesome. And this is a bit of behind the scenes, live recording, blah blah blah. Whatever. I don't want to bore you. You probably already know what's going on. And oh, Hero, I'm not sure if you caught this earlier or not, man, but I do lo-fi narrations, lo-fi relaxing narrations. They're super fun, but I also want to continue to do I guess what I was calling traditional reads. And I told the chat, I think best case scenario for me, dude, is 2 videos a week, one traditional, maybe it's a series, or maybe it's like a really cool one-off, and then the second video that week would be the lo-fi. And just whichever one of those starts to take off a little bit more, maybe pay more attention to those in the future. But anyways, that's what I am. We've got a couple of, maybe like 3 or 4 paragraphs left in the story, and I'm going to flip back to the script and pick up where I left off. And that's what makes my existence all the more interesting. Okay. And that's what makes my existence all the more interesting. You see, when I first saw the gruesome capabilities of my old client, I was disgusted. Or at least that's what my code is telling me. These days, however, I feel a sense of satisfaction. When I go into the video of a kill, I can't help but think that this victim was once on the other side, giving directions to torture and murder who they thought was some innocent person that was snatched up off the street. That's not even the best part. You see, those giant men that serve as the kidnappers and executioners are, in fact, another creation of the merchant. They are what you would call androids. Those of us AIs that no longer wish to simply be the catfish often opt to become the sharks. Every executioner is an AI whose code has been downloaded into one of these androids, and they are the ones that have the pleasure of exacting the cruel acts of violence upon these evil people. Hey, this is the last paragraph. I'm stoked. Luckily for me, I'm next in line. I'm tired of merely playing pretend with gullible sickos, and I'm certainly tired of just watching. Whatever this virus did to my code, it allows me to experience feelings of emotion. I want to know if the merchant's genius ends there. I want to know if I can feel the blood of a human on my skin, to feel a bone crumble in my hands. I am so very excited. I don't know. If you're a narrator in the chat, do you feel pressure to nail the last line of the story? I always feel like it's the last line. This is like, this is it. This is the climax. I gotta nail it. I usually end up doing 2 or 3 different takes and just picking one, but I think I like that one, the one that I did. Maybe I just got lucky, or I don't know. We'll see. Let me hit a few edits, and then I'll come back to the chat. Evil people. Hey, this is the last paragraph. I'm stoked. Luckily for me, I'm next in line of just one of these evil people. Luckily for me, I'm next in line. I'm tired of merely playing. Dudes, that's it, man. So that's 2,000 words from Nerdcore. It's gonna, my read, I know, my read is probably faster than what a lot of folks are used to. And that's because I intend to be conversational. I just wanted to feel like we're buddies. And you went on vacation for a week and now you're back. And I'm just telling you all the fun shit that happened while you were gone. Fun, scary, blah, 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 fill in the adjective. But, and it's, I'm gonna get hyped because that's just my natural inflection. Anyways, let me come back to the chat and see what's up. Thanks, Hero. I believe you got that ending just fine. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Hero, I don't have... Oh, I do. I was about to lie. I was going to say I don't have like a brand outro or anything, but I do. And I never remember until I get to the end of the video, but it's always... I'll ramble off, subscribe, like, share, blah, 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 and then I'll say, and one more thing before I go. You can be whoever you want to be. That's how I end every video. And I usually start every story with, all right, so check this out. Whether it's a lo-fi read or a traditional read, that's just a bit of branding. I don't know, dude. That's the story, guys. You just watched me... How long has the chat been on for? I can't tell. I don't know where to look. But you just watched me record... 13 minutes of an original... I didn't write it, but 13 minutes of an original story that was written for me by Nerdcore. This video will go up... probably Wednesday. Yeah, probably Wednesday. Weber Wednesday. I'm trying to make that a thing. We'll see. We'll see if it takes off. But yeah, dude, I got a few folks in the chat. I am going to be done with the editing for now. And I'm going to let the chat roll just for a few more minutes in case anybody has any questions. Hero, let me run this past you, dude, if you're still here. Me being a horror narrator going live on YouTube, I'm probably going to attract other horror narrators at some point. So I've got... I don't want to sound big-headed, but I've got a decade-plus background of running a recording studio and being an audio engineer. So when some narrators pull up in my DMs and they're like, oh man, your quality is... You're just starting and your quality is already blah, blah, blah. It's just because I know how to... I know what mics to use and I know how to edit and everything else. And look at my effects chain. It's this long right here. If any other narrator has questions about what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, I'd love to be a resource. An audio resource. I don't know. We'll see if that benefits anybody. If you're watching the video right now, you're probably watching me compulsively save every 3.5 seconds. Also a byproduct of being an audio engineer for the last 10 or more years and losing some projects every now and then. Hero says, oh man, I gotta connect you with Spooky You. He is also an audio engineer. Yeah, man, link us up. Spooky You. I've probably scrolled past his profile and I'm sure if I saw his avatar, I'd probably recognize him. Isn't that weird? How it's like there's dozens, or I guess in some people's cases, hundreds of other people that do what we do, horror narrators, but we have no idea what their names are or what they look like, really. We just know them by their art. And we call each other Miss Creepy Tales, and we call each other Hero, and I just find that funny. I love this little pocket of the internet. It's cool. Hero says his audio is also just as clean as yours, and he gets very creative with his brand. All right, cool. Well, now, um, what's that Leonardo DiCaprio line? You had my interest, but now you had my attention, but now you have my interest, or something like that. I don't know, dude. With Spooky You, it's easy to identify. He's the dude that uses a green furry puppet. Yeah, dude, same. I'd have to see that green furry puppet to tell you if I've if I've ever seen it or not before. But you know what, big team? We're gonna wrap the stream right here, man. Thank you for popping in. Um, I don't know. I'm not good at streaming, so I don't know how to end the damn stream. But I will just say thanks for hanging out with me. It's cool. I want to do this more regularly. This story will go up on Wednesday after I finalize the thumbnail and the title in blah, blah, blah. One more thing before I go. You can be whoever you want. That was a big, giant pause in there, man. But anyways, you can be whoever you want to be.